Hi, this is Cyril Inri from The Bill, Cucumber, various other TV shows and films and theatre pieces, and this is HMPTV, Helping My People TV. Watch it. It's coming to a screen near you now.
Hi, my name is Robbie Gee, that's R-O-B-B-I-E, G-E-E. I'm here supporting and representing Helping My People Television, the place to be seen and the people to be seen with. Thank you and good night.
Yes, this is Karl Collins for Help My People TV. You can see it there. Bigging up the station, bigging up the diaspora. Blessings.
I'm Trevor Phillips, and you know my recommendation's good. Stay with HMPTV.
I can't say that I have family to leave behind necessarily. My mother died when I was 13. Not too long after that, my father abandoned all of me. 9 of us. My entire life seemed to change.
What's your name? Kofi Mensah. Kofi Mensah?
Yeah, yes sir.
Ulric Cross.
Trinidad. But that's a place. Since I was a little boy, all I ever wanted to do was become a pilot. Flying Officer Ulric Cross. And now I'm actually here at the area, signing up.
Let's just go and kill Hitler. I don't know why you came back to this country. There's nothing here for you. They've been using us. Their men died and they called us. You think they want us here?
Come, let's go. Help me leave England.
There's somebody that I want you to meet. This is Mr. C.L.I. James. Mr. George Padmore.
This young man, Ulric Cross. We need him. Lovely.
The CIA, the MI6, the intelligence services, you have to understand. Building a movement is not easy, Mr. Cross.
I will go to Ghana.
This is Ghana, man.
Yes. Welcome to Ghana, my friend.
Our President Kwame Nkrumah and the people came together to unite Africa.
At last, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever!
Independence came to over a dozen states peaceably, but in the Belgian Congo, freedom was followed by rioting and army mutiny, a reign of terror and disorder.
Well, Mr. Bumbutu, things seem to be a bit unstable.
This is my country, the Republic of Congo.
And I have to say, go and see the film. If you love history, if you love drama, if you want to learn about your culture, if you want to learn about the internationality of love, conquering all, go and see the film.
Hi, this is Paulette Harris German, affectionately known as Lady Paulette, and we are here at the Stratford Picture House in London, and I have the Trinidadian High Commission, Mr. Orville.
London.
Mr. Orville London, in London. We are here for the screening of Hero, which is an epic biopic by director Francis Anne Solomon. Now, you've seen the film. Could you tell us a little bit of why you think it was an important film and how you felt about it?
Well, I think from a numbers perspective, from the historical perspective, I think it takes a good look at what transpired in the United Kingdom, in the Caribbean, in Africa, and by personalizing it through the life of, Ulric Cross, we were able to get some insights that we might not have got if you just had a purely historical narration. I think also that the timing could not have been better, because at the beginning of Windrush Week, we have an opportunity for us to be able to look at what the trials and the tribulations, but also the triumphs of black people. And I think it allowed us as black people, whether we're from the Caribbean, in the United Kingdom, in Africa, to really get an idea of the human spirit and what can be achieved if you have the necessary commitment, if you have the necessary capacity and the necessary will. And I think that it is a sort of film that should be shown all over, in the schools, in the communities. It should be shown in the Caribbean, in the United Kingdom, because we have so many young black people who are stateless, or feel stateless. They're rudderless. They feel that they don't have hope.
Yes.
And to be able to revel in the triumph of another black person who was able to overcome this, and not only to make a contribution, but to make a difference, a significant difference, and to actually change the history, or contribute to the changing of the history in Trinidad and Tobago, contribute to the history in the United Kingdom during the World War, and play such an influential role in the transitioning of Africa. I think it is something that is really worth looking at, but most importantly, worth spreading.
Most importantly?
Worth spreading.
Yes, no, absolutely. Now, I know that the High Commission has been very much behind this film and behind Frances Ann Solomon, our director. How do you feel about the fact that she has worked 8 years in the making to get this full film to fruition?
Well, I'm impressed, I'm proud. I am, to a certain extent, almost flabbergasted, that somebody could really be so committed. And when she spoke as to how she got into it, that it was really a response to her mother's wish.
Yes.
And her mother was responding to a dying man's wish.
Yes.
And based on that commitment to her mother, she was able to devote so much of her time and her life and her resources and her talent to this project. I think it's admirable. And therefore, I am doubly proud.
Yes.
Proud of Ulric Cross, the
Yes.
man,
Yes.
and proud of course, Frances Ann Solomon,
Yes.
the director. So I think I feel good to be a Trinidadian and Tobago representative at this point in time.
Trinidad is certainly flying the flag. Thank you so much, Mr. London, High Commissioner of Trinidad. Again, for a screener, we'll be hearing from him later. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. Thank you. I have another young lady coming to speak with me now, and she's just coming to join me.
So Rudolph has talked to me before, and he's told me the story on the radio, but he's 80 now, so I just have to remind you, I have to say it again. So, Rudolph, how did you become involved with this?
Well, I was approached by Frances, my dear Frances, who I was privileged to met many years ago when she was doing her film course, and at the end of a course like that, training to be a director, you're supposed to do a little film, and she asked me, and as I said, many moons ago, and I obliged, and this come to full circle, and here I am working, having worked in one of her powerful documentary films. When she approached me, and together with her mother, there was no hesitation whatsoever, because Ulric was someone that I knew, someone that I aspired to, someone that I had many wonderful hours here in the UK when he was High Commissioner. I think that's more or less it in a nutshell. How can you refuse to be in a film celebrating the life of someone who achieved so much and so powerful? And the more stories that are told like that, the more it will inspire our youngsters.
Yeah, it is incredibly important. I know that Robbie and I played a tiny part in something called Lovers Rock. And when we watched it, we said, well, that's us, that's our story. Quite often we don't see our story told. How difficult, Frances, was it to make?
It was very difficult. How difficult? What part of it? Financially, economically, or creatively?
Oh, we want to know everything. We like that, I'm afraid.
Where should I begin?
How did you find the money?
My mother raised the money mostly from the Republic Bank. They had in Trinidad. They had a bank called a program called The Power to Make a Difference, and they were very interested in celebrating Ulric's life. So when she approached them, they gave us most of the money, and then a lot of it was raised from donations, and then I finished it with money from Canada because I'm Canadian.
Right, so does that mean, because we've got a limited showing here and I've got a number of other showings, and I know the other shows are doing incredibly well, so clearly there's a market for it. Because it's made, would it be easier to sell it to telly, so that, because we've become used to seeing black things at 2 o'clock in the morning on a weeknight? So is it a possibility that something like this could be shown on British TV?
I have no idea. I don't like to think about those things.
Well, we do, because we enjoyed it, and the wider the audience, I think the more they'll get from it.
The answer to that is, when I left this country 20 years ago, it was very difficult to get black stories on television, and I understand that it has not got any better. That's the answer.
Yeah, I think there might be a difference when you're asking them for money to make it, and when it's already made.
Well, like you said, then they buy it and they show it at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, but we're happy because we've got recorders now. We could tape it and watch it at a time when human beings are to watching telly.
So again, this is Paulette Harris German, affectionately known as Lady Paulette, here at the Stratford Picture House for the 3rd screening of the epic biopic that is Hero. And I have my uncle with me. I claimed him as my uncle nearly 20 years ago when we performed on Sweet Inspiration.
That's right, that's
Yes.
right, that's right.
Who would have thought I'd have grown up to be this young lady, hey?
No comment.
The inimitable Mr. Rudolph Walker. Some of you will know him as Patrick from EastEnders. Others of you are old enough will remember Love Thy Neighbour, and
It's a long
so
time ago.
it was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
That's why I call you uncle. Rudolph is playing a pivotal role in the film Hero. So please tell me your character, how you came to be involved, why we're here tonight.
Well, the reason why you're here tonight is because my foundation, the Rudolph Walker Foundation, is hosting the event. Heroes is it's about Ulric Cross, the late Ulric Cross, who was High Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago here in the UK, and is someone I've known for quite a number of years, and his life is just, extraordinary.
Beyond extraordinary.
Beyond extraordinary.
How somebody could have put that amount in one life and only passed in 2013.
That's right, that's right. It's just amazing, it's just amazing. And not only, he transformed the parts of Africa.
As did his wife, Anne.
As did his wife, yeah. And no, it's just an amazing story. And it's an inspiration for the generations to come. And I hope all the youngsters get a chance to go and look at it.
I think we might need to organise, maybe through your foundation, which I hope you're going to tell me a little bit more about, that we can put on some complimentary screenings or something and certainly get it out into the schools.
It's got to get out there to the schools. It's got to get out to the schools.
Because that's one of the things that I find. We don't have a lot to be proud of in this country. When something like Hero comes along and, it shows us the achievements that our elders, one of my hashtags is on their shoulders we stand.
Well, there is a lot to be proud of. There be tremendous contributions in this country. It's just simply that it's not out there.
Yes.
And the sad thing is that the news we are getting every day are so negative. It's about knife crime.
Yes.
There are hundreds of youngsters out there who are doing fantastic jobs, who are role models within themselves, for themselves. So, and that is the message we need to get out. And we also need, by watching Heroes, these youngsters can stand 10 feet tall and say, wow, that's a guy from...
And it really affects them physiology. But
Of course,
go on. So
of
you were going
course.
to say, what's the guy from Trinidad?
That's that guy from Trinidad, That's what he does, his achievement. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your foundation and why you felt it was important to sponsor the event today.
Well, it was important because of the connection between Ulric Cross, being a fellow Trinidadian, and myself, and because I've known him for quite a number of years. But my foundation obviously started, it was launched about 10 years ago at the Hackney Empire, of all places. And it really is to work in schools and inspire youngsters, make them realize that, there are people out there for them and all people out there to support them. So it's my little contribution to the next generation.
It's a huge contribution because you're an ultimately hugely busy man and a man of age, because I know you've got a special birthday coming up.
Oh gosh,
and
yes,
looking so strong and so strapping and fine and dapper and handsome.
I don't
I
know
could
about
go
that.
on.
You could go on.
I could. Rudolph, enjoy the night. Oh,
Bless
and do you
you.
have anything to say to our beautiful director or about our beautiful director, Francis Ann Solomon?
Francis is amazing. And once again, I had the good fortune of, when she was a student, I did her test piece.
Oh, wow.
So those many, many years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And it's come to full circle.
Do you know, it's funny, that is one of the special things about the film Hero, is it's really unified a lot of us who have been working in the industry for years, and it's provided a platform for us to come together and work together.
Yep.
I haven't worked with Priscilla for over 10 years, Sarah for so long, yourself.
Yep.
You know, James Fraser and I were in Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame in
There we are.
1987, so here we all are again together.
Okay.
Rudolph, enjoy the evening.
Bless you.
And I'll see you on the way out, hopefully.
On the way out?
Save a
Okay.
rum punch for me, okay? Thank you so
Bless
much.
you.
My Uncle Rudolph Walker. Thank you, darling. So here we are. It's an amazing evening. Hello, sweetheart. Lots of people waving. We're having a wonderful time. The rum punch is out. As Mr. Walker's just said, the event this evening has been sponsored by his foundation. Do check them out. This is the banner here, the Rudolph Walker Foundation. You can Google to find more. Our director is giving out rum punch. She's a multitasker, she is. Former BBC. She actually produced Ebony back in the day. For those of you who don't remember that TV show, do look out for it. It was one of our leading Black magazine TV shows. So do look out for it. Google it. We have a long history in this country, and Hero has come along to remind us of that and for us to take full advantage of that. I've been joined by another beauty, looking very gorgeous this evening. Please tell me your name.
My name is Margaret Hamilton.
Hello, Miss Hamilton. My name is Paulette. How are you?
How do you do?
Welcome to the screening of Hero here at Stratford Picture House. What brought you here this evening?
What brought me here, I saw the first...
So you can actually speak to the film, so you were at the BFI.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. What I found, I wanted to see more. It was very informative, the sort of history that we didn't know. And I have met Ulric as an ambassador.
You're one of the lucky ones.
Well, I'm 72.
72. I want some of what you're drinking.
So I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It gave me, to actually see that our men went to support Africa, Ghana, and things like that. I was very proud of them. And I just wanted to see more and more and more.
And the thing is, you're right,
to fill the gap.
because I've seen Hero 3 times now, and every time I see something that I've missed. Either you get a little bit of distraction, or somebody laughs and you miss a bit. There is so much content in that film that it is one that is for a multiple watch. Would you agree?
Yes, it is a multiple watch, and I feel like for the youngsters, it's quite a legacy.
It is.
That we could be proud of. He did well, seeing that he came from our roots in Trinidad.
He's really put Trinidad on the map. This film will really put Trinidad on the map. So tell me a little about your involvement with our director, Miss Francis Ann Solomon.
Well, I'm not involved with her at all. Actually, I was a childhood friend of Evangeline. We went to Convent San Fernando.
And that's Rudolph Walker's wife.
Yes. But I'm always interested in anything we have that we offer. I always like to support it.
Good. Well, we thank you so much.
You're most
Enjoy
welcome.
your second screening, and I'll see you at the other side. Maybe we can have a chat again. Thank you so much. Take care.
Can we get, because I could ask lots of questions, but I would like to get some questions. As I said, it made me want to find out more. How comes that person knew that person? I didn't know that person. Did any immediate questions from the audience, please? It's not a day for being shy. It's going to rain in a minute, and I want you to get home before the thunderstorm.
Did you like it? Yeah. What did you like about it? What did you like? Tell me. I want to know.
It seemed quite real. It seemed quite understandable.
You need to stand.
Well, we're going to get you a microphone, if that's all right with you. I know you don't think you need it, but we'll just get you a microphone. Is that all right? Thank you. Thank you.
The whole program seemed quite real. And I know that there was real footage in it, which just gave it credence. And I then felt there must be other stories like this, maybe not as high up as Ulric went, but You know, there must be hundreds of other tales that could be told.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. As I say, it just made me go, wow, well, what else is there out there that we haven't heard of? There's a lady at the back there in the middle, if we might get a microphone to her. Thank you so much. Thank you. In the middle, yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations on the film, it's beautiful. How did you do the research to source all of that, all of those archives, and to integrate the drama so seamlessly into the archives so that it really made us feel as if the archives, well, like I said, that they were seamless, that it was one film?
It took a long time. How did I source the archive? We just constantly did research. Constant. The editor that I was working with, he was a genius at finding things. And then he was very good at turning, at making things kind of match. So that became the style that we used to mix it up and cut it together and intercut it. The reason, I've said several times that the reason why I used the archive was because there was no way, our budget was very limited, and so I couldn't afford to shoot, period in 1920 Trinidad, in 1940-50 England, in 1960 in different African countries. There was no way I could shoot that really period and build the period sets. So we had this idea to use the archive like drama to cut around outside the windows of characters, when they're driving through scenery, to really wall them around with the archive as if it was sets. And that's what we did. We just threw ourselves into it, and we dug and we dug and we dug and we dug, and we became like archaeologists digging up archive of all kinds, and then having to cut it together like a patchwork quilt, and that being like a style as well, becoming a style that we would cut video and film. And I got to like the look of film that didn't quite match being cut together with video and dramatizations. And then the color correction was incredibly important, because the guy that we finally found to color correct it, his job was to smooth it out, to make it, believable. But I was looking at it just now, and sometimes we really did some leaps as well, like we go from black and white to color to black and white to color, like back and forth, and it didn't jump out because we thought it through so well by that point.
It became, for us anyway, I think, a style.
Yeah.
Mum always had a saying, which is that necessity is the mother of invention. Mm-hmm. I don't think it lost anything. I thought it came across, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, somebody could correct. It came across as a style that was new, that was interesting, and that drove the story. I thought it was brilliant, that fact.
Hi, this is Paulette Harris German here at the Stratford Picture House for the third Windrush screening of Hero. I have with me the wonderfully talented, dynamic, handsome...
Stop.
No, rotund
stop,
now.
stop,
You're getting
stop.
rotund.
Stop.
Mr. Robbie Gee, the other half of G Store, which is Eddie Nestor. Tell me why you're here.
I'm here because, I'll be honest with you, right? I've come to see a film. The director of the film, I want to work with her.
You want to work with her? Me and you both. Tell me why.
Because she does great things. I've heard great things, I've seen great things, and I want to be on that list of greatness.
I hear that.
So there you go. That's the end of the interview.
I hear that. Thank you. Maybe we can catch up after you've seen the whole film.
Have you seen the film?
I've seen the film. Tonight will be my third time.
Oh wow, now you're just showing off.
I'm showing off because it's like with most films.
Showing off
I'm not showing off. When there's a lot of detail in a film, what do we have to do?
We got to watch it. We got to watch it, and we miss it. We watch it. Okay.
And that's why. And it's so important.
Just make sure, because you've seen it 3 times.
Yeah. Well, it will be third time tonight.
Third time tonight.
No, fourth time tonight actually.
Why did you have to correct me on that one?
No,
Three would have been more than enough.
I'm remembering myself, Robbie. You.
All I'm going to say.
His funny bone is always switched on.
If you get there before me,
yes,
sort it out. And if I get it before you, so together
Maybe
we're in
we
the
should
next
just
one.
cast together.
Right, there you
Well,
go.
we've got Francis Anne right there, so you know.
Well, listen, trust me.
We'll slip over our cards.
As I finish here,
Yes.
I'm going to go and be in her ears.
I don't
I'm going to be
blame
like
you.
a mosquito in her
I mean,
ears.
she worked so hard,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing piece.
Well,
maybe if you don't have to rush off, you can come back and join me and tell me what you think.
Oh, definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely. Thank
Enjoy
you.
your rum punch. Love to see you.
Thank you, baby.
You too, baby.
Take it. All
Love
right.
you.
I think you've kind of answered the question already.
Talk louder.
I was
Talk
just-
louder.
Sorry, I think you've more or less answered the question already, but I was just amazed at the detail that was in some of the footage and so forth. Even the simple thing of the carriage in the train, you know, going back in time to those, that, you know, to that period. You know, I would just like to thank you for bringing this story to our attention, and I hope there'll be more to follow. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Can I ask the lady with the microphone, please, and then we go to the gentleman in the middle there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis Anne. 2 questions. What was the hardest part, or rather, what have been your the biggest takeaways, lessons-wise, in terms of what you will do next time, what you will not do next time? And secondly, is there any possibility that this is a template for rolling out the stories of our Caribbean heroes in the way that we need to hear them and see them?
You know, for some reason I can't see where that person is. Oh, there
she's
you are. I was searching over there.
Sorry.
That's okay. What did I learn from it? Yeah, it took a long time. I think for me it's become a template for how to tell a new way to tell stories. When I started making the film, I had never seen a film like what I felt it should be, you know? I didn't know whether it was going to be a documentary, I didn't know whether it was going to be a drama, I didn't know whether it was going to be a kind of cradle-to-grave story or whether it would focus on one part of his life. I didn't know how I was going to find his voice because Ulric didn't talk about his feelings, especially later on. He didn't talk about why he did things, he just kind of told stories over and over and over. And so it's very hard to get under his skin to kind of crack him open and give him blood and guts and a voice. And so that was very hard work. So I feel like at the end of this journey, I have, and if it hadn't been for the fact that this was a deathbed promise that my mother made to a friend of hers, and I had to honor that. Like, you know, it was a mandate of the ancestors to complete this and hand it to the future. I wouldn't have forced myself so hard to push to find the voice and the style that I did within the limited resources that we had. So I feel like I really grew as an artist, and I think that it is a template that anybody can use, not necessarily like that, but that we have so. One of the things that was interesting for me was that all along the way when I would seek advice from different people, I would say, I'm making this film about this, what do you think, how do you think I should? A lot of people said, forget it. Who is he? You know, that's not a story. That's a bad story. That has no interest. And I pushed through because I had to, and got to the end and discovered that all kinds of things can be stories. All kinds of things can be engaging, entertaining films that touch the hearts and souls of our lives, you know. And it's important to believe that and to really tell your story. That's a lesson.
Hi, this is Paulette Harris German here, affectionately known as Lady Paulette, at the Stratford Picture House. Don't laugh, Martina. At the Stratford Picture House here in London for the 3rd Windrush screening of Hero, a wonderful biopic directed by Francis Anne Solomon about the life of Ulric Cross. I've got 2 of our beautiful British actors here. One of them I definitely know has Trinidadian ancestry of the same as Mr. Ulric Cross.
That's right.
Miss Martina Leard.
Yes, I'm very pleased to be here and see Ulric being paid tribute to, and of course to see Francis Anne's film, because I know Francis from back in the day and we did something together way back.
She from back home?
Yeah.
Oh.
We kind of grew up alongside each other.
Gosh, and you still remember each other from the 40s, way back then.
You're so naughty. The comedian here is Mr. Karl Collins, actor. You may recognize him from
The telly?
From the telly. He's not going to tell you the shows. Another phenomenal actor. Now, you've already said why you're here. Carl, you haven't seen the film as yet.
I haven't seen the film. I saw a trailer for it some months ago, and I thought it was one of those where you go, oh, I don't know this story. I want to find out about it. I knew a little about Ulric, and obviously his time in the RAF, and I know he was a Pan-Africanist, yes. And so those things really interest me. But more readily to me, I just thought, oh, this looks like a great film and a good story. So that's why I'm here. And Martina invited me. So
well done you, getting all our boys out. It's so lovely that we're all here. I was just saying to someone earlier that this film has brought all of us out to work on a project that is so important
and so positive.
And so positive.
Absolutely. And just what we need right now, really.
But also aesthetically, it's a phenomenal vision, and in fact we don't just want stories that are important, we want stories that are beautiful and important,
absolutely.
Which I think is important.
And this
it doesn't
is
want to be dry.
everything.
It doesn't look dry at all. I'm so excited to see that.
Do you know what? We'll have a chat after.
Okay.
You've seen it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just looking to see the expression on your face and feel the palpitations in your heart. Right. It's a roller coaster. It's a fantastic film. Great. So this is the wonderful Karl Collins with the beautiful Martina Lid right here. Oh, thank you, gorgeous. At the Stratford Picture House in London for the 3rd screening of Hero. See you later.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Don't you need my kisses? Bless me in a sandwich now,
Yeah, I'm enjoying it way too much.
Exactly.
Off you go, enjoy your drink.
Bless you.
All right, darling.
Okay, so the gentleman with the hat glasses, please, sir.
Glass, thanks for the description.
So you knew who you were, yeah?
Sorry?
I just wanted you to know who you were.
Thank you very much. First of all, I wanted to say I think the film was absolutely brilliant. It was inspiring, really inspiring. But what I wanted to ask is, because we always have Black History Month here, is there any way you're going to try and get this into schools in any sort of way? Because I think this is a genuine, proper hero. He was inspiring because he did so many different types of work, and I think it would inspire the young people of our country to be exposed to someone like this. Do you have any plans in that sort of way to go into schools?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I think that is the target audience, really. And what's been very heartening is that when young people have seen the film, they're very inspired by it. Like even a lot of the crew, a lot of the people I work with are in their 20s, younger, often, and I've seen the way they kind of go through a transformation from learning where they come from, on whose shoulders they stand. That it really impacts young people to have a sense of not just of history, but of
context. That's what jumped out at me. It's interesting that we're talking about Ulric. I mean, I am minded to point out that I would love to see a film like this about, I don't know, Maurice Bishop, Steve Biko. But we know those people. I think that the other bit that we haven't talked about yet, if anybody would like to mention, is empire and how through colonization and independence things were stifled. Because that was also, as I mentioned, context, Francis, and that was also very important. Is that something that was obvious to you as a backdrop to it?
Hi, this is Paulette Harris German here, and I'm at the Stratford Picture House with the beautiful Maureen. We are just about to go into the screening of Hero, which is the 3rd of the Windrush screenings here in London. Maureen, you've seen the picture twice. We do mean film, right?
Yes.
Twice, so you're back for a 3rd time.
I'm back for a 3rd. And
tell me why.
Because there is stories within a story. Every time I look at the film, I see more that I didn't see in the last one. And I'm someone who likes to have clarity. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, well-scripted film. It's a love story. It's a story about war. It's a story about Eric Cross and how he united with the African nations, and there could have been a United States of Africa. And it's all about our wanting of holding on to things. If we did share a little bit, we would have gained a lot. And it would have been the United States of Africa there would have been maybe a United States of the Caribbean, and there would be more wealth than poverty.
True.
And this film is a blessing, and I think everybody should try and come and see it.
We don't try, you only do, Yoda said.
Yes, you can do your best. I've done my best and put it out there and say to people to come, and God bless
our director, Francis Ann
Solomon, for putting this out there, and she's opened up the gates for other people to tell their story, because there's many war heroes, there's many people who know about history who are out there whose stories haven't been told, and I think it would be a blessed time if we get the sponsorship to make this film on mainstream.
Well, we need to create the sponsorship, would you think?
Yes, and I think if they was to say to us, everybody put £10 in,
well,
I think it could happen.
Start shaking a bucket.
And I'm going to run because I don't want to miss the screening. I want to
Thank you, Maureen.
God bless
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the screening.
I will.
That way around.
The gentleman with the blue hat, first of all, please.
Well, I thought I was a real great person, but I've never heard of...
Can't hear you.
I've never heard of the name, the name of that character, that person, Ulric Cross. I've never heard of it. Yet I've listened to news, I read newspapers, I look on the internet, and I've never heard of it. So it's very eye-opening to see something like this, even at my age. Much less it should be for the younger generation. Yeah. You hear of America, all the black struggles in America, but you hardly hear of the relationship of the West Indies, Britain, and Africa, in the same breath.
You never hear about the relationship between the Caribbean and Africa in that way. Can I ask you a question, sir? Yeah. Because there's not a money tree, so funding has to be gotten in order to make stuff like this. We all enjoy it. Where would the money come from, do you think?
Well, as a comparison, we have something called ageless teenagers.
Yes.
Who applied for funding.
They want 50 grand, yes.
That's right. So maybe someone could take that up as an example, to get funding through something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the point is the television stations in this country, film foundations should fund our stories. But for example, when I worked at the BBC, I remember my grandfather was one of the architects of Trinidadian independence. And there was a story I always wanted to tell about my grandfather, Patrick Solomon, and one of his best friends, David Pitt, who was the first Lord in the House of Lords here. And their relationship, they started the first socialist party in Trinidad and worked together for adult suffrage at a key in the 30s and 40s. And I really wanted to tell the story of that friendship. And no interest. Just as there was no interest in this.
I get that, but I'm thinking that with the terrestrial channels not being as powerful as they were, with independence being more powerful, I think we probably have to move towards a stage where we're self-funding. If we like it, then we've got to be prepared to pay for it. That's my personal opinion, because if you keep going to people who go, who is he? What did he do? Why? The story's not pertinent to them. It's pertinent to everybody in this room, I think.
Hi, this is Paulette Harris German, affectionately known as Lady Paulette, right here in London at the Stratford Picture House for the third screening of Hero, the epic biopic directed by Francis Ann Solomon about the legend who you will still be able to find out about. His name is Ulric Cross, Mr. Ulric Cross. Do Google him, but be sure to catch the film. Now, one of our guests this evening is Mr. Trevor Phillips. Some of you will remember him as the race relations.
I was the chairman of the Commission for Racial Equality.
That's right, CRE. And now he's telling me that he's semi-retired and travelling around. Trevor, why did you feel it was important for you to come to this screening today?
Well, two reasons. One is I wanted to catch up with Francis Ann. She is one of our great broadcasters, great producer. She produced me for a little while when I was young, in the days before we had proper television.
The days of ebony, remember?
Indeed, exactly. Dinosaurs roamed the earth. Yeah, but I wanted to see, because I think she's a really incredibly talented filmmaker, and I want to see where she'd got to with this. But more importantly, the story of Ulric Cross is one that
some of us have known for a long time. I made a series about 20 years ago called Windrush, and Ulric's heroism in the Second World War was a central feature of that. But I think that not enough people know that guys like him came thousands of miles. Nobody told them to come, nobody made them come, nobody paid them, but they came out of principle because they wanted to defeat Hitler, and they put themselves in harm's way. And one of the things.
Can I just add to that, and to support the motherland?
And to support the motherland. But I think one of the things that I remember Ulric saying to me was that he came with a whole bunch of guys from his class at school. And he flew, I can't remember how many missions he flew, but more than 100.
About 80.
Yeah, getting on for 100. And he said that he thought he may have been the only one of his class that got out of the war alive. So what that's telling us is this is a guy who came when he didn't have to, and then he went up in the sky again and again and again. And you can't honour those guys too much.
No, I agree totally, and that is just such a small amount of what he's done. I mean, his life has been incredible. When you think of when he was born, then he only passed in 2013.
Indeed, and I think it's almost impossible for people today, as much as we complain about the way we're treated, it's almost impossible for people today to think what it must have been like to have been born into colonial Trinidad, to be essentially grow up in a, even though he grew up in a well-to-do household, but with the certainty that you were a prisoner inside your skin. There were certain things that you were not ever likely to do. And actually, the thing is, he then did them. High Court judge and all of it.
Everything in one life. So you've seen it for the first time tonight. Okay, great. Maybe you can come back and have a little word with me later after the screening and let me know what you thought.
Try and catch me, but you know, I might be in tears by then, and
nobody
wants to see that.
Emotional.
Nobody wants to see me in tears.
Thank you so much, Trevor.
My
it's
pleasure,
lovely
Paulette.
to see you again. See you another time. Enjoy the screening. Thank you.
The lady on the far side, David, will have the microphone.
I've got the mic.
There's 4 ones, so it couldn't really happen. All right, sorry.
Right, okay, so I'll start by saying welcome one and all to the land of Fat. Trinity born. Right, okay, so thank you, Francis and Rudolph, Eddie, Priscilla, for having this film produced. We're really very excited. It's really a privilege to see it. And I'm particularly excited because I have very young people with me seeing this for the first time.
That's very
not
good.
having any exposure of this in their curriculum. So it's really great to see it, particularly as we know that it's Windrush season, with all tourism, they wishing us well for the kind of hostile environment and stuff like that. What I'd like to actually find out about, maybe I've read about Ulric Cross, particularly his aristocratic connections, which wasn't really explored in this film, but we know that there's been some connections in terms of his relationships, etc. And this is a wonderful film. And for me, what I would like to know is how can we get this film actually shown with young people. I'm here with colleagues from London Borough of Newham. We're very excited with this film. We'd like to show this in Newham for our young people. I've got the purse holder here. And we'd like to have a real chat to see how can we show this within some of the provisions that we show in London Borough of Newham, so that young people who would not have any opportunity to kind of see this, particularly within their curriculum, to have that opportunity. I don't know if
Okay, I'm going to cut in there because I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk to Francis at the end of that. Okay, so you can do that. I'm sure there will be a way to do it. I'm very conscious of the time, and I want to try and get in a few. So that lady there will certainly, Francis, I'm sure, give a way that we could get a copy and stuff.
Just briefly, our plan is to, have 50 screenings starting from September in cinema screenings, private screenings, educational screenings, a range of screenings. So,
well, I think that what we need to do probably is network, so that people like you do bring young people to those screenings. Because success is success, right? If cinemas like this see people coming then they'd be, I think, more inclined to do it.
So I have with me Evangeline Walker, wife to Mr. Rudolph Walker. Some of you will know him as Patrick in EastEnders, or from way back in the times of Love Thy Neighbour. Angeline, this is not your first time seeing the film, I'm sure.
No. I was there at the premiere when we had it in central London.
Oh, at the BFI.
At the
BFI. So that was the first time you saw it?
That was the first time I saw it.
How did you feel seeing it and seeing Rudolph in such a role?
Oh, well, I know the man.
You know Mr. Cross himself? Yeah. Oh, okay. So this...
Mr. Cross, I knew at the beginning when they wanted to start it, when Francis Anne approached him.
Okay.
That was the High Commission, and that was the beginning. And Rudolph has been there at the beginning, so I'm not surprised that he has been part of it, because he also knew Ulric Cross and has been a famous Trinidadian. Everybody knew him. What I like about the whole film is to see the simplicity and the style of the man Ulric Cross, whom we didn't know, had all these talents, capabilities. He was a very distinguished man in our country. He and the Prime Minister at that time, Dr. Eric Williams, were very good friends, well respected. And what must I say? One of the most admired lawyer in the land. He was a friend of Desmond Allen, who was also very famous.
Yes, it was Desmond Allen who actually requested the film to be made, isn't that right?
Yes. So we are looking at people of class in Trinidad and Tobago. But I never knew that this man had traveled to
England,
to Africa.
Wow.
I knew when he was High Commissioner here as well.
Yes.
You know, so I followed the history of well-known Trinidadians. But to see the things in which he was involved, the politics of the African country.
And how at risk his life was, and that of his family, yes.
Exactly, and he was so very stoic about it. Whatever he believed in, he went with it.
It really comes across in the film. I think he's beautifully portrayed. Do you agree?
I think Francis Anne did such a remarkable job of that. She really put everything together, and it flew.
Yeah.
You know, she was able to make it such a smooth oneness, you know. It was really admirable, and she must be congratulated for bringing it across. And I know a lot of work was done. It took a while, but at the end of it, it was worth doing.
You see, they say anything worth doing is worth taking the time.
Exactly.
And Evangeline, it's a beautiful name. Evangeline Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Enjoy the screening tonight. Enjoy the rum punch.
I will.
And I will see you a bit later.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'm going to take 2 or 3 more questions. Over there, thank you.
Hi, Francis Anne. Thank you so much. This is our second time seeing the film. And I have to say, I could not resist coming in to New York to see this. It's come to me. I went to BFI, now it's come to me. This is amazing. What you said after the screening in the BFI was your connection with the BBC. And what has remained a constant chord throughout the film is the power that broadcasting holds over the information that we need to get out. So, in as much as we would like to see it on TV, how are we going to get it on TV? It's not just going to miraculously happen just because we have the funding. We have to change mindsets. And it starts here.
Well, that's what I mean by networking. Because what happens, I'll just tell you a brief story, right? In 1987, I was in a program called Casualty. After the first year, I was in the second year, but after the first year, they were going to cancel it because it wasn't working. And so many people wrote in that they reversed it. And to my mind, Casualty is still on today. So what we have to do with a film, like, if we think it's worth it, and I definitely do, we have to work together. So networks and mobilization means if the BBC gets 1,000 letters telling them that this is a story that they think, or we think, helps young people, whatever, they have to act. We pay our license fee. So I think that we have to work together if we want something like what you're...
I hear what you're saying, but considering that they were responsible for stifling a lot of this information in the beginning, it's going to be a fight. I'm prepared to fight.
All right. That's all right.
Just so you know, I'm prepared to fight.
No, I just think we have to try. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, then somebody needs to tell me. But I can't just say, it's such a... Because it's not just about a man, it's about an empire, context, and actually you've told the story beautifully. It is a beautiful story. So if it was about almost anything, I would enjoy the pictures and whatever. So I think it deserves as much showing as we could give it. The gentleman with the cap in the front, please.
Hello, thank you, Francis, for showing us this film and making it. As a fellow filmmaker, I think what the stumbling blocks that we always have is that when you go with a script about black person or black culture, if you like, what we hear back from people, the key holders, the gatekeepers, that say, they always say it's not universal enough. And I think Mr. Rudolph Walker understands that very, very well. And I think what we have to do is, I just recently got a friend who's been in the Channel 4 writers group, and then she's had a script read. And again, that stumbling block, the key holder saying it's not universal. Because our stories, although they're about human beings, they just happen to be black human beings, and it's not basically relevant. Our stories aren't relevant.
Not to them, yeah. But I'll tell you what's relevant to them is money, audiences.
Yeah.
So Eddie is absolutely right that it's what I found over time is that when you build a grassroots movement and it builds in strength and power and volume, then they begin to take notice, absolutely.
Well, I do think we need to be reminded that the highest grossing film, comedy, rom-com was a film about black women called Girls Trip, right? And it took more money than any rom-com since 2009. And I don't, from my memory, although I'm old and my memory is not good, I don't think Black Panther did too bad. So that if that is an argument that's given, the argument does not hold water. And I think you have to use, I work for the BBC, right? So I will tell you, you have to give examples. Give examples. Close down arguments. Do not allow them. The more often somebody says something, it becomes the truth. We got.
What's your name?
My name is Lorraine.
Lorraine, I'm Paulette. Come and have a little chat with me. Now, I understand that you've seen Hero also.
I have.
This is your second time tonight?
And I am so glad I just come to my borough, Newham.
Oh!
Yes. We went to see it when it was at the BFI.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I took my 12-year-old son.
Oh, wow.
And my mom is here as well somewhere. But it was amazing. It's the kind of information that if I had known as a younger child, because I grew up in Trinidad, and this is our history. This is real. This is what we're living.
It's everyone's history. Tuck in for me a little bit.
This is what we're living right now. And it's nothing new. And that is what this is showing us, that corruption and treachery isn't a new thing.
It is not.
And we all get caught up in stuff that we don't understand exactly how it's going to play out. But to know that this part of the history belongs to us, good, bad, or indifferent, is ours. We own it.
Yes. And it's a proud moment.
More than. I can't wait for it to be on release so I can get it for my school.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Anytime.
See you later after the screening. Thank you.
And I was wondering if, when you were making it, you were conscious of how Africa is portrayed and how Africans are portrayed, because obviously they're not essentially the central characters. And also, if you were thinking about how this could be used to encourage further in collaboration between the diaspora.
Absolutely. I was thinking about how Africans are portrayed when I was growing up, and I put those words into Ulric's mouth. We were told that Africans swing from trees. So, like monkeys. And then, you find this incredibly, of course, sophisticated and evolved culture that is actually ahead of where we are in our colonial world. Well, that's what Ulric found. And it's like a culture shock that he has to grow into. I remember when I was in Ghana, I was telling the story to one of the kind of ministers there. I said, it's about a guy who came to Ghana to help with the transformation process after independence. He said he didn't come here to help. He came to learn. So we have to, as as people outside the continent, we have to learn about where we come from and be humble about it. And I think that's part of the journey.
Yeah, and if you just put on your network, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is, Hero Film. Just say you saw it and it was fantastic, and then when we all see you put it up, we retweet it, then it creates its own. See, that's the way it works. So if we all do that, then we've at least come from here and we've done a little bit to see if we can help this film be seen by more people and enjoyed by more people.
And we've done amazingly so far, you know.
It's been brilliant. I know I've seen some of them that have been sold out, but we need more people. You got 50 showings, so there's a lot more people to come.
We can go by, but I just want to thank all the community partners, starting with Mr. Rudolph Walker. And Sarah.
Sarah.
Eddie. Priscilla. Joy. Veronica. Robert. Paulette. The High Commissioner, I was going to say the Prime Minister. This is my community. I wanted to say this is my community. These people are supporting this film. I think because they believe in it, and I thank you. I think this is how we have to work together.
Absolutely.
You know. So thank you. Thank you for coming.
Just before you all go, I'd just like a big thing for us is charity, and Rudolph Walker has dedicated a large part of his time now to try and make up for all the bad things you've done, Rudolph. to the Rudolph Walker Foundation. It's a just speaking for you for a second, that helps young people quite often through drama. It gives them a confidence and an understanding of things, and it's helped already hundreds and hundreds of young people. So Rudolph would just like to tell you a few words about the foundation.
He did already.
You did it well.
But give. You can just.
There's going to be Sarah's going to have a bucket here. If you got 10 pence or 20 pence, I promise you all of it will go to helping young people. Have a safe journey home, and thank you very, very much for coming out. God bless you. Thank you.
Can I get a picture of all three of you together?
No.
Hero is an excellent film. It's quite a long film, but you don't actually notice it when you're watching the film. I was captivated from start to finish. Francis Anne Solomon employs various filmmaking techniques that make it a very compelling watch, as well as the traditional narrative drama that you see in a film with actors portraying the characters on screen. It's also interspersed with archive footage of places that Ulric visited, as well as interviews with the real Ulric and his wife. It's a real insight into a part of history that I knew nothing about, and I left the cinema and wanted to know more, and in fact today I actually read up a bit on it. Hero has a limited screen release in the UK, and I know that it's playing at the Ritzy in Brixton quite soon, and if you could get tickets for it, I would urge you to go and see it. It is a fascinating story, beautifully told, of a wonderful life. Francis Anne Solomon and Ulric Cross, I take my hat off to you.